Tonight we have a continuation of yesterday's story. And that story was about a man that had left home and gotten himself into a bunch of trouble, and then was finally deciding it was time for him to go home again. And here he is, sitting in the field as he's traveling on his way home. He knows he's not coming home the way he thought he would be coming home, in fancy clothes and riding a big horse. And he's coming home as something less than what he thought of as a success. And he's trying to come up with something to say when he gets home. I don't know if you've ever gotten in trouble and you knew you were going to be in trouble when you got home, and you tried to think what you would say when you saw your parents. Or if you're at school, what would happen and what you would say when your teacher found out about something. I hope you've never been in that position. But if you have, then you know what this guy was feeling. He wondered if his father would let him work in the fields, because if his father gave him a job as a helper, at least he'd have enough food to eat and a safe place to sleep. This younger son knew that he'd acted selfishly, and so he figured he would ask his father not just to take him back as his son, but if he would just hire him as one of his workers. Well, while he was still a long way off on the road, but headed home, his father saw him. He saw him coming, and his father's heart was filled with joy. He jumped up and he ran to meet him. And you know what? If he saw him at a distance, that means he was watching for him. He knew him better than he knew himself. And he knew he'd be back. And he knew he would welcome him back, which he did. Boy, did he welcome him back. He threw his arms around his younger son, and he gave him a big hug, and he kissed him, and he started shouting for other people to bring him clean clothes, and he was crying tears of joy. And the son said, "Father," because he's got this speech prepared, so he's not going to waste it. He said, "Father, I was wrong to leave you. I shouldn't even be called your son. Can you please forgive me and let me work for you?" That's when the father turned to one of the other workers that was there. He wasn't even listening to the excuses. He just was glad his son was back. He said, "Bring a new robe, put it on him. We'll have a huge feast to celebrate my son returning home, for I thought he was lost forever. And now here he is, safe with me." He was that happy. He was that very happy. Meanwhile, however, because he wasn't the only person in the family and the only one that was involved in all of this, because the older son, this guy's older brother, was out working in the fields when all of this was going on. He'd been working hard all the time his brother had been away, and he had never not done his work. He had never skipped his chores. He had never grumbled. He hadn't done anything. Well, here he was again, as always, out in the field, and he took a break, and as he got closer to home, closer to the house, he heard music. Really happy music, and he heard people talking and laughing, and he realized that there was a party going on back in the house. And he got closer and he thought, what on earth is going on? He called somebody over to him, one of the workers. He says, "What's happening? Why is the big party going on?" And the worker said, "Your younger brother has returned home, and your father is throwing a party to celebrate. Come on, let's go." But he didn't go. The older brother was angry. He refused to go into the house. He stayed where he was. He wasn't even going to go home. He was that mad. His father had to leave the party and go outside and find him. And he did. He went out there and he found him kind of sulking, angry, resentful. There's a good word. If you ever heard the word resentful, it means kind of jealous, but not just jealous, kind of sorry that somebody got away with something. And kind of, in a way, you get the sneaking feeling that maybe if you had done something, you would have had a chance. That they got away with something that you would never do. And it doesn't mean it's something you should do. I don't know. But the point was that he was really steamed. And the father went out to talk to him and find out what was going on. He came outside, and the first thing he did was ask him to come inside and join the party. He wanted his two sons to be together again. Parents like it when their kids are friends. The older son said, "No, I am not coming back. He left me here to run the farm. He took your money and he ran off to the city and he wasted your money on all sorts of things. And now when he just ran through it and he's got what's coming to him, and I'm sorry, he brought it on himself. And here he comes crawling back, and you expect me to be happy about it? You're giving him a party? You never give a party for me. What about me? I mean, what about me? I'm here, and you never said, why don't you and your friends have a party? I'll get the food and stuff. No. Well, the father looked at his only child, his older child, that is, and he said to him, "Son, please try to understand. You've always been safe here with me, and everything I have is yours. But your brother, who I thought was lost, has been found. It was like he was dead, and now he's alive. How can I not celebrate his return? And how can you not?" That's the story that Jesus told. And he told all of us about the importance of loving and forgiving and being loved and being forgiven, and how to be happy for other people. That's a lesson you gotta learn. It's a good one to learn, because it isn't always about us. Sometimes it's about somebody else. And just because something good happens to someone else doesn't mean it's bad for us. It just means there's more good and more happiness in the world. And that's a really good thing. That story is really one of the most important ones that Jesus ever told. And you'll hear it again a lot. Good night.